Epica is currently on a massive tour with Amaranth and Charlotte Wessels. And because the band has been using my Solemn software for many years now, let's sneak backstage, check out some of the gear they've been using lately, and of course, have a little chat. Right now we're in Vorst Nationale, which is an arena in Brussels. You're on a tour with Amaranth, and what's interesting is it's a co-headlining tour.
Yeah.
Which is something we don't see very often. So could you explain that to people? Like, what's the concept there?
We thought like it would be cool to have a package where we both can play like a full set. So again, we can give people definitely what they're paying for. And so far it's been working really well.
Awesome, awesome. So you're basically every night swapping who's like the last act essentially, or?
Kind of.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And then your pre-program, let's say, is Charlotte Wessels.
Yeah.
She's in every show, or?
Every show, yeah.
Every show? Okay,
yeah,
very
she's
cool.
on the whole tour, and we're now like on the first, just started with the first leg, and we have another leg in late February, no, March actually, yeah. So it's also in a few weeks.
Awesome, cool. Tour so far, you've only done 3 days?
Yeah, this is the third day.
Yeah, this is the third day, okay. Yeah. So you're still fresh, great for the video.
Kind of.
Fresh-ish.
Fresh-ish, indeed.
So right now, obviously, Epica is like gigantic. You're touring the world. You've toured with literally Metallica like a few years ago as well. You're reaching all the heights, essentially. However, let's say, because our audience is mostly musicians, let's say somehow a meteorite crashed down, you're on Earth 2, and you have to start all over as a musician right now.
Oh, yeah.
The world is very different from when you start, you know, you've made this like big rise now. How would you try to recreate such a rise in the current climate?
Yeah. That's a very good question, because back in the days, I mean, we were almost existing for like 25 years, and it was a completely different time when we started. But I think there are a lot of things that we would do the same way, because this is how we work, this is how it feels well. I must say we had a kind of like similar, not necessarily similar situation, but if I'm thinking about it, like this question, it kind of reminds me of COVID in a way.
Yes.
Because we had to do the same thing, like we had to be very creative, start all over. We didn't know if we were actually being able to do live shows again. I think a lot of bands were suffering from the same problem. But then again, I must say, like these so-called problems also triggered a lot of creativity within the band in a very good way. So eventually we came up like with a new studio project. We eventually chose to do like the live stream, stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember.
Exactly. That was actually simply like born out of necessity, and because we didn't know if we were going to play live again and stuff like that. So you just have to be creative, and that's funny how that works. Also in this band, like a lot of people in the band are very stress resistant. I noticed. That's
useful.
Yeah, but that's but also like I noticed with a lot of musicians, we're kind of used to the idea that things can suddenly change. Like we're not having the typical 9-to-5 job, not at all actually. And sometimes, I mean, a show can also get cancelled. So what are you going to do? You can start panicking. What the hell can you do about it?
Yeah, you can have bus trouble. You can be stuck in the middle of Poland somehow.
You can definitely have bus trouble. Like you just noticed Charlotte, she already had a problem on the first day with the bus.
Oh, no.
It's fixed now, and let's hope that it will stay fixed. But it can happen, Or you miss a flight, or you go on tour with a headliner that suddenly decides to cancel. We had it before with another big band. That's many years ago already.
Okay.
Not going to name names, don't worry. But no, but it can happen, and that's just part of the job in a way. So
right. So is there like anything right now that you feel maybe a young band isn't fully utilizing in terms of whether it's big strategy or just small little tricks?
Well, first of all, bands simply just need to do what they got to do. Like, first of all, they have to be really into it, like not necessarily for the success. First of all, just do what you got to do. Like, make music for fun.
Yeah,
fun
create
is all
what you actually want to create.
Exactly, that's priority number one. That's something that we also prioritize, because if it's just like doing it for the money, if you're into it for the money, then you should have like studied economy and
pick another industry or something.
Exactly. Then you shouldn't become a musician. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but these days it's even harder than it used to be. It's always been hard, by the way, but it's now getting harder and harder. But first of all, just do what you really 100% believe in, and let's see, like, in a way you also, of course you need vision for what you're doing, but then again there's also that little factor of luck in there as well. And plan from there and learn like how to approach your band as a kind of like basically like a company. Yeah. That's what it is. But
yeah,
but you also have to be realistic. Like just be thankful for everything that you accomplish, and never put the bar at least in the beginning too high, because then you only get frustrated. And that's not motivating at all. I've seen that with a lot of bands as well. Like, oh, we want to become like I don't know, the new Nightwish or stuff like that. I mean, I've seen that with a lot of bands. Will become the new Metallica. That's so unrealistic. So be realistic about what you do. Be ambitious. That's fine, but always be realistic and make sure you're having fun in what you do. That's priority number one.
It's also like some band might think, oh, I want to be the new X, whether it's Slipknot or Sleep Token or whatever, but audiences also evolve. So while we may have grown up loving X, Y is going to be popular in 10 years. And if you're just copying X, it's like you're always just running behind.
Yeah.
Now, you as an artist are also like doing big things separately from Epica. For example, you have your own like Dingwall connections and so forth. Is there anything interesting you're able to share yet about that, or is that all still under wraps? Like, are there any Dingwall related plans?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's we're now 1 week, at least when we're filming right now, we're 1 week ahead of the NAMM show, and already got a very nice video from Mr. Sheldon himself.
Oh.
And so we're going to release my new signature bass, and
Awesome.
I'm really proud of that. That started with eventually with well, actually, you have to go like many years back. It's when we started for the whole project, what eventually became the D-Rock bass. That's something I've been involved with like since the very beginning. That was actually originally just like a one-off custom bass, because I wanted a 4-string that would be perfectly tunable in B without being like sounding flabby or anything. That's how it started, and he liked the idea so much that eventually it became like a standard model, or actually it became a custom shop model. Then it became one of the standard models, just like the NGs or the Combustions. And then later on they said like, dude, you needed your signature bass, because it became an award-winning bass, which is awesome, of course.
That's really sick.
Yeah. And then they came with the idea, because I'm such a huge Hellboy nerd. They said, you need a Hellboy bass. I said, okay, but how the hell are we going to call that bass? It's like, yeah, we're going to call it the Rob Vanderloo Hellboy signature bass. I said, that's way too long.
A little long.
Let's just call it the Hellboy. I'm fine with that. Like, I don't need my name on it. It's fine. And then they released that bass, and it was sold out like in no time. Even though we had some problems back then, because that was during COVID that it got released. So there were some problems with the factory back then, and you know,
every factory has problems back then. So,
it was one big mess. But eventually it did become a success. And then they said, like, we should do like a continuation of that, but like in a different way, like with a different finish, because it's very niche if you go for like a bass that has like a comic figure on it, of course.
Yeah.
So then he came with this idea, like, what would you like to do? Like some kind of new finish or anything? Because like Sheldon,
Dingwall has incredible finishes.
Yeah. They have an amazing team. They are so specialized in it. And they won't release anything before they really like don't believe in it, like for 100%, but 200%.
Yeah.
And then Sheldon came with this idea, like, or actually I said, like, would it be possible to do something not just like with the finish, but also with the texture of the bass? And he said, oh, that's pretty interesting, like something with a 3D print kind of thing. It's going to be complex, but I say, hey, just try it and
just
whatever.
Go crazy, give me a cool bass.
Exactly. And then he came with the idea for the fluted top. And some people think that's actually just like a paint finish, that it looks like it's fluted, but it's like actually like a3D model in that way. Yeah, it's really incredible.
Is that, we don't have one here yet to look at?
Yeah.
Oh,
we do,
okay.
we do,
So
we do. Yeah,
soon in the little gear thing we have going on,
you can see my actually first prototype worn out Hellboy bass. I have that one here as well.
Sick.
And then like the new now I've got to say it as well. It has become like my new signature bass.
Oh, congratulations!
And from next week, thank you very much. From next week, it will be available at the custom shop.
So this is me having stolen Rob's guitar. Our car is parked outside. We'll be real quick.
We can start with the beginning.
Sure, yeah.
We started with a model called the D-Bird. That was more like a tribute to the Thunderbird model. But at the same time, because, you know, copyright and stuff like that, they were like, we want to try to avoid any, you know...
Yeah, any weirdness, potential
issues. Exactly.
Yeah.
So eventually they made a quick decision to change the body shape a little bit, but also the name. So it was changed to the D-Rock. The body shape was changed, as you can see over here. It's like it has a little cutout over here. They changed the wing over here a little bit as well. It had a positive effect on the sustain of the body. It kind of gave like a little bit of a pitchfork effect, apparently.
Really? That's interesting. I had no idea that was
So it was a little bit one of those typical accidents where eventually the sound turns out better than what it used to be.
It also looks quite extra modern in my opinion. Like gives a little more spaceship vibes.
Yeah, but that's typical with Dingwall, I guess. They always upgrade it and make it more, contemporary, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
This is actually the very first Hellboy base. This is the very first real prototype, but there was a little bit of a problem with the finish, as you can see over here. Started to let loose because there's this film that they actually put over the body, they glued it on top of the body. So eventually they made the decision to make it more like an oval flat top.
It's also good, that's probably why you tested on the road for a while to
Exactly. That's how we also find out the qualities, but also the flaws. Flaws perhaps a big word, because in general this is a pretty kick-ass bass. It's one of my favorites, and I've used this one a lot for recording, especially I believe I played a whole Omega album with it, the Alchemy project. Also, Spiral was recorded with this one. I believe I also did Simone's solo album with this bass.
Oh, cool!
It's amazing, and I'm really happy with it. So this is the very first Dingwall bass with the onboard distortion system, because it has the dark glass system in it.
Oh yeah, dark glass preamp.
Yeah,
cool.
Not just preamp, this is an overdrive.
Oh, okay, right.
So
cool.
It's built in. It's like the B3 circuit that I use on stage normally, and they said because that's typical your sound that you use. Why not integrate it in the bass? And at the same time, it's also I never have to switch. I have my very own sound in finger reach, basically.
Yeah, it also sets it apart from maybe the other models who are more of the dark glass preamp type. Some are even without the dark glass preamp, as far as or I bought an ABZ at some point, no preamp in it, so quite some options. One interesting thing I saw here is all your knobs are in one row like this, which is quite rare. Is that a decision for yourself, or?
It's actually, first of all, that's something where Sheldon came up with, because we were looking at all the options, because we have a driver built in there. What are we going to do? Add tone, volume, all that stuff. And I said well, in general, what I think is important, I want this bass sound as passive as possible. I like to have the same volume. So if you switch on the overdrive, I want that to have basically the same gain as you have with the normal passive switch.
Yeah.
I said, cool, no problem, but do we want to work with double knobs or stuff like that, maybe to add a little bit of EQ? I said, no, let's keep it simple. And eventually we actually went for, because the normal, the standard model has 3 knobs, a volume, pickup switch, and then a tone. In this case, we went for volume, pickup switch. This is actually the blend of the drive. You can blend it in.
Oh,
so you can
okay,
decide
a mix knob, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Tone knob, and if you if it's fully open, it has a pretty, aggressive tone. If you put it totally back, it's almost like you're playing on a tube amp, basically.
Yeah, you're rolling off the high end.
Yeah, and it also has the push-pull, so you can switch it off if you want to. And in worst case scenario, if it might crash or you have a problem with the preamp or anything, then it will switch off automatically. So that's really cool.
You also, maybe interesting, you have the 3 pickup setup, because I think in Dingwalls there's a lot of, there's a camp who loves the 2 pickup setup from the oldest NG2s. You have then the 3 pickup setup. Some of them. What's the reason that you've decided for the 3 pickups?
Then I have to go back before this model.
Yeah.
I have. It was actually an experiment. I saw that one day Sheldon came up with this custom shop jazz bass model with 3 pickups. I thought that looks interesting. I have no idea how it sounds, but it looks interesting. I said I just want to try it out, and well, he eventually built me one, and I went for it. But I'll be very honest, I was it sounded good, but it sounded a little bit too polished in my point of view. I was I'm kind of missing that little bit of that typical rock growl that I actually had with my P bass.
Yeah.
And the reason why my P bass was sounding a little bit more growly is because it was switched in series instead of parallel. So I said to Arjen, our guitar tech, can you perhaps change the wiring of the bass? So this pickup has to be in series, the rest parallel, I don't care, go for it. And eventually where he came up with, and that's very interesting, is these pickups in parallel, so it kind of sounds like a humbucker, with this one added in series.
Okay.
And then I was like, would you like to try this out? So sure, let's go for it. And then I was like, dude, this is the sound that I've been looking for all the time. Let's keep it like that. So that bass is still in that setting. He fixed actually all the switches, so you can't even change the sound anymore. That's that's the sound. And I said to Sheldon, you should check that out, because that works really well. And at first it was all 3 pickups on, that's a little bit too much. So you'd be surprised. And eventually he tried it out and said dude, this works really, really well.
Interesting. So is the next version of this then just has that by default, or?
In a way, it did.
Okay.
Yeah, and eventually then he said like, I like that idea so much, and it actually became like a standard option also with custom bases.
Oh, yeah.
I believe actually also with the NG model, it's also optional to go for that same pickup selector that this one has.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it became a kind of like a standard, and with the D-Rock, it became a standard sound. That's the D-Rock sound.
Awesome.
And also the decision of to go for the middle pickup as well separately, that was also my decision.
Awesome. So you've completely shaped this bass essentially to what
yeah,
it is
in a way, of course. I mean, all credits to Sheldon and his team, but at the same time, but they listened, to my input anyway. That's the cool thing. That's what I like about working with these kind of companies. It's like they clearly have their own vision of what they want, but at the same time, they listen to what you as an artist who is constantly on the road and recording and shit. They really listen to what you have to say. Like it's not just like an opinion. No, it's like sorry, this comes from experience. So.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's
awesome.
good. Yeah.
So that brings us then to the next era maybe of your bases.
Yeah. Because that is like eventually this got released as a limited edition bass, and thankfully it got sold out. And then we were like, okay, what's the next step? And then we were like, okay, what we're gonna do next? And then Sheldon said like, well, perhaps it would be cool to do something with a different finish, not with the Hellboy styling this time. And if you have some other ideas, come up with it. I said, wouldn't it be cool to do something like with a different body texture? I said, well, I like that idea. Let me experiment a little bit. And that's when he came with this, the fluted top.
This crazy 3D looking. Well, it's not 3D looking. It is 3D.
It is actually 3D. Yeah.
We're going to.
And no, people, it doesn't hurt your wrist or anything. It's actually pretty comfortable
very
to play.
soft. I can tell you this is very, very soft.
Yeah, but also when you lean on here, like even if you're a finger playing bass player, like you don't feel it at all, or at least it doesn't bother you. Let's put it that way. Also, when you're playing with a pick, it feels so natural.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing look, especially if you're playing in a band with a lot of cool lights and stuff like we do. No, I must say it looks really awesome, and I thought it was a very original idea.
Yeah, it looks really, really crazy.
Yeah, and one thing that we also changed is like this time I went for a Wenge neck. And one of the reasons was because one of my favorite basses is actually still one of my old D-Bursts, and that is actually a bass with a Wenge neck. And I like that feel and the sound so much. It feels so comfortable. I asked Sheldon, like, can you also do the same thing with this bass? Plus, I like the idea of like a fully dark back. And then with the
really shiny front.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's really like pops out also on stage. This one also has the minimalist bridge, which I love. There was also like an idea that I said they used to work with all these separate, those hip shot bridges.
The separate parts. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest. Like some of them, also on stage when you have to say, in case you have to change your strings really quickly. Sometimes, your little screws can pop out, stuff like that. But also, like, especially when I play with a pick and I'm leaning on here for palm muting.
Sometimes a little pointy.
It's a little bit pointy. Yeah, sometimes I cut myself, and this is totally idiot proof.
Yeah,
and,
it looks
really
very
like
modern. Did something change about like the sound whatsoever, or is this purely like a really fancy outer layer, an outer look? Well, beyond the Wenge neck, I guess.
I must say, like sound-wise, it's pretty close to that one. I would say 95%, but this one is a little bit warmer in my point of view.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love the sound. It's really great. It's really comfortable, and I remember when I got this one and I pulled it out of the box, and we plugged it in. I used it like not even in the studio or in a rehearsal space. It was on stage straight away, and I didn't even have to change any of my settings whatsoever. It was like plug and play. It was like, hey.
Awesome.
It's like homecoming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What do you think like the extra warmth comes from? Like the 5% or something? Is there like something?
The neck.
The neck?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, most definitely the neck, yeah.
Awesome. This looks absolutely incredible. So this is like next week is the big announcement you said or something? At NAMM specifically? Or?
At
cool.
NAMM, yeah.
Cool, yeah. So this video might be right after. Want to give you the exclusive there.
Yeah, and it will be available through the custom shop just like the Lee Sklar bass. And it will be available in a whole bunch of different options like the finish. This one, there's a very cool metallic blue one. All of them are metallic, by the way. There's a really cool like candy apple red metallic one. I saw there was even like a very cool blue one, gold. I'm already repeating myself, I don't know. Black.
You're just too excited about it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Yeah, absolutely. I'm really proud of it, and yeah, it's amazing.
Looks absolutely incredible.
It sounds even better.
Yeah, we'll see tonight. I was geeking out too much about Dingwalls.
But we can also talk like how we use your plugins, for instance, stuff like that.
Oh, I mean that wasn't even the goal, but sure.
No, but we're here anyway. So
Yeah, so one thing you mentioned is that you never write on tour, almost never, I guess, for the band or something like that. You tend to write in boot camps.
Yeah. That's like, I mean, it's not that we don't completely write on tour. I mean, if you have some ideas, of course, it's great these days. If you bring your laptop, it's so easy to, you know, fart out a cool idea that you have, or maybe it's not that cool and you find out later, but it doesn't matter. No, but if it comes to the writing process of Epica, like since Omega, we've been working with like writing camps for the first time, because the thing is, like, we all live so far from each other. Like, I live in Rotterdam, Arie lives in Maastricht, Mark lives in Sicily, Simone in Germany, Isaac lives in Belgium, so it's not easy to come together. So we eventually thought, like, wouldn't it be cool? It was just an experiment. Maybe we're gonna, you know, come together in a songwriting camp and we'll eventually end up in a big fight. You never know, of course. But we did that and it works really great, because also with the last album, we rented this farm in the middle of nowhere. Everybody had their own room in there. And it was just like, okay, just start working on your ideas. And if you want to like involve a band member or want somebody's opinion or don't want somebody's opinion.
You close the door.
Yeah, just close the door. Well, there you go. No, but it was great, because in a very early stage, for instance, I could already like involve Simone with it, which I think is very important when you write a song.
Yeah, if you want something to be vocal centric, you don't want to be like writing without any vocal whatsoever until the
that's
very
like
end.
almost mistake number one with a lot of metal bands. Like, I mean, if you make death metal, it's already a little bit easier because you're working less with melodies, I guess. I'm not judging at all, but it can make it much easier.
Yeah, for sure.
But like for a vocalist like her, for instance, she needs space, of course, to sing and also to shine, because eventually it's like an actual song we're talking about. And the melody is so important, so I always like to involve her like as early as possible. Like if I have like an idea for a verse and a chorus, I say like, Simone, come over. Could you please sing a melody that pops into your mind? Because I have an idea for melody, and let's see which one works best, or perhaps we can blend it together. And 9 out of 10 times it's like she nails it straight away. It's like,
awesome,
hey, I like the key, I like how it sings, like, yeah, works really well, please continue. And then I continue from there on. And a lot of guys did it in the band did it as well. Some people have other way of working, like I know Arjen is also one of the composers in the band, and he works a little bit more from a drummer's perspective, and he has like very cool ideas for riffs and such, and then we can see work from there as well. Some people have already like very concrete ideas, like how a song, which direction it should go and stuff like that. And you have like best of both worlds that way.
Yeah, so because it's also like a vocal hook sometimes just needs the instrumental built around it, and so you can have the craziest riff, but it will just clash. So knowing that up front is really useful.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the writing camp like forces a weird way of creativity? Because basically you say, okay, we have, I don't know, 4 weeks or 5 weeks or 8 weeks, we're gonna lock ourselves up here, and by the end we need to have an album. So good luck.
In a way, yes, but and in the beginning that was very like exciting in a good and in a bad way, like because it can also deliver a lot of pressure. But then again, to be honest, I really like that pressure.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's the big danger that a lot of bands also have. Like especially if you have all the time and you don't work with deadlines and stuff like that, then you're never going to be happy with the album anyway. If you're working with real time slots and deadlines, like it has to be finished by now. Of course, if you're not happy with the result, you're definitely not going to release it. But I think it works really well to work with deadlines. Like with this kind of like a healthy pressure is always good.
It also stops the whole like song final dot WAV.
And it also stops all of those like unnecessary discussions about like, nah, maybe if you tweak this or that, like.
I want the bass louder.
Yeah, like with the mixing, for instance, like you have to make like, okay, you have to draw a line till here and not further, and let's just go for it. Also, if it comes to the choice of the song, because I remember like when we wrote an album like The Holographic Principle, I believe back then we had like 29 demos for songs.
Yeah,
it was insane. Like, and it was so. I remember like when we had to study those songs to go into the studio and actually make songs out of those songs, also to speak.
Songs.
Yeah, I was like with all of these like working titles, I couldn't remember which song was which song, and then with this it's much easier. You say like, okay, we just go to like, let's say come up with 16 tracks or something like that, and we choose the 12 that really fit together, or 10 maybe, doesn't matter. Just go for the ultimate result.
Yeah, and for the last one you just roll the dice if you're not sure. And
yeah, almost, yeah.
Awesome.
That's like, actually like also the recent single that we released, that was like I don't want to sound too disrespectful, but it's kind of like a leftover track that maybe fitted a little bit less with the other 10 songs, but it was a fine song on its own. I mean, that's also why we recorded it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, not every album needs to be like a 100% concept that needs to, you know, if a song is just good to stand on its own, just include it.
Yeah.
I've also seen some bands do like B-side because of that. Like they might just do like B-side track, whatever the hell, but maybe it's not actually necessary. So yeah, if someone's stuck, you know, put a very hard deadline, you know, just say in 7 weeks I need this, not 7 weeks, 7 days. This song needs to be done and see what happens. And if on day 7 you're not happy, start over, I guess. But
exactly, yeah. But I think that works really well. That's
very, very cool. So it's at these boot camps that you use the Solemn tones. No,
no, most definitely. I mean, they've been a very, very important, also creative element of the thing. Because even though I'm a bass player, I can also play guitars and stuff like that. But I kind of try to avoid writing songs, especially with Epica, with an instrument. I like to write, what I like to do is I like to translate what's in here into the computer, program the guitars and even the bass. Even though I'm a bass player, I mean, sometimes it's even easier, you know, plug in the bass, play it. But like I kind of, somehow I think to me it's easier to visualize music, translate that eventually to the software, see how that works out, because you can still have like all the control to. It's kind of like arranging like classical parts in a way. If you do it for an orchestra, you do the same thing.
Yeah, you're not playing violin and cello and whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, like most of our musicians in our band, they're also school musicians, and I kind of it's kind of like writing a score. That's how I approach it. Because first of all, it might sound pretty clinical what I just said, like why should you use a guitar? But it's like in a way I am, but I'm doing it in my head, and I'm then kind of translating that to a score. But I use actually your plugins to program the guitars, and it works really well. Why? Because it's much easier also to change the key. For instance, like first I want to, like I said before, if I ask Simone to sing a verse or a chorus, and she says like, maybe it's a little bit too high or actually too low, and we can still decide like, oh, maybe it shouldn't be like in B standard, maybe it should be in, I don't know, a drop A tuning or something, or maybe in C. Perhaps that works better, and then you can easily, you know, change it. I know these days you have a lot of plugins that you can easily transpose, but also the arrangement, like if it sounds better to change just that little note, you can easily do it with MIDI, fixed.
Yeah, it's also if your track, like your songs in particular, there's so many tracks, if you have to transpose all of them and they're waved, then you have to manually insert like pitch shifters on each, whereas if you just have the MIDI, it's just drag up and it's done.
Exactly, and it's so much easier.
It also, and again, I don't want this to become like just some ad, but it does allow you, I suppose, to not get too guitar-y in the sense that you know, if you're holding a guitar, it gets really fun to play guitar. Like, oh, look at me playing guitar, but maybe the song didn't really need the craziest guitar. Maybe it just needed to support a really good vocal hook or something. And at least for me, I find, you know, I love these metalcore bands from 2010. Those riffs can kind of fight with vocals sometimes.
I mean, even though like, those riffs are awesome,
exactly.
But like I said, sometimes even like with screams and grunts, they work perfectly. But sometimes like with clean vocals, not always. That's,
and so if you're holding that guitar, you're maybe more excited to play some crazy.
That's some things that we kind of struggled with in the past. That sometimes you have to simplify your parts. It's all about the song eventually. I know it sounds very cheesy, but that's
no, it's absolutely true. And also, you guys have like not only vocals but also orchestra. It's very hard for high guitars, I find, to not overpower something like a viola or something like that. You know, like you have this viola playing in basically the same octave as your lead guitar, and good luck hearing something without distortion.
And we also have, in the past, we also had sometimes that problem like that we were too much focused on the orchestra, so the band couldn't shine.
Yes.
Even though, like, I mean, that's something we did with the recent album as well, that we kind of found that balance, like some parts need to be fully like orchestra orientated, so we can step back a little bit, and other pieces like, let's, you know, be that guitar band that also exists.
Exactly. I mean, you're still a metal band. You have to sometimes show like, hey.
And you can always sweeten those parts. Like if they're too simple or anything, you can still like make them, spice them up a little bit, and then say like, hey, then I ask Isaac to come over. Like, here's a demo. What would you change, or do you want to play your parts over it? And if he's fine with it, and he can also still like arrange it from his point of view. I mean, he can also easily think in scores and stuff like that. So, that's how it works.
Awesome, cool. What do we have here?
Well, it's not on stage anymore because they've been changing to Amaranth, the other band. My main keyboard, what I use, is a Roland FA08. I have actually two. because one is put into a piano shell.
So this is like a fake outer shell?
Yeah. These are both of the same keyboards. As you can see, it's on a rolling platform. It's also able to spin 360. And therefore we had to come up with wireless stuff. So we have two of the same keyboards that go with a wireless MIDI controller. So I don't have to press sound switches anymore, which is huge.
Especially if you're turning around and stuff like that.
You're pressing enough buttons already.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the, like, you stand on this and this is the one that then spins.
Yeah. And even the sustain pedals are wireless. And it all goes wirelessly to the keyboard rack. Which is here. I haven't actually looked at it that much because I'm not here. So here we have the sound module from Roland, where the actual sounds come from.
Labeled string Epica, so you're basically playing like strings at this point, or?
Yeah, I mainly use strings and the piano, but that's on 7. But the sound switch is on MIDI channel 1 actually. So it's always on MIDI channel 1.
And there we have the famous...
There we have the Revo, which is basically also just a master keyboard that connects with the sound module. So we switched the whole rack for this tour because we're now working with Ableton for the live set. This is my wireless MIDI, which we got from the guitar tech from Metallica.
Oh, okay.
Well, we didn't get it, but he makes those.
Yeah.
And because, you know, we're big friends with Metallica, right?
Oh, yeah. Big Metallica friends right here.
No, we saw it over there, and it was, we used a different MIDI, wireless MIDI system. But in the stadium, it didn't work.
No.
It was too far. He lent us that one, and now we have 2 to make it work. And actually, for this tour, it didn't jam yet.
Awesome.
This is also
3 days in though, so we never...
3 days in. But it's also always a little bit of a problem. The technology is not that good as the wireless sound system.
They're really trying to mess us up here.
Yeah. But that's basically it. My technician made it all the beautiful LED lights.
English?
Jammer genoeg wel.
Okay. No problem.
Because a lot of our audience is musicians, of course, they also try to make their music heard by as many people as possible. So right now, Epica is huge, obviously. You've been growing and growing and growing. I'll say it, you don't have to say it. It's going very well for you. And so imagine for a second that the whole world exploded and you're on Earth 2, where you have to rebuild Epica, but in the current climate. So you have TikTok, you have all of that. You have to restart from
everything
scratch.
exploded except TikTok.
Exactly, this dystopia. That's everything is gone except TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and so forth. Spotify owns Earth too. How would you go about trying to get back where you're now, or higher, if you had to start over?
Oh my God.
You know, that's actually such a difficult question, because when we started the band, even before his time, there wasn't that much internet going on even, so it was magazines and CDs. So we built our, I guess it's a huge advantage that we built our fan base through that, you know. There wasn't that much possibility for everyone to put out music, because now everybody can put music on Spotify and actually record at home, you know. Back then you could, but not as good as you can do now. So I guess that would be really difficult, and I never had to think about it. So I'm
Yeah,
not
I know.
sure.
I'm putting you on the spot right here. So if you need a moment,
But maybe
that's fine.
it's purely talent that comes.
If the talent didn't explode. No, but I think with Epica, like in the beginning, it was all about the connection. Or maybe not only Epica, but it's back in the days you went to South America as one of the few bands, and meeting with the fans after the show, stuff like that. I think that has helped, definitely. The only difference now, I think, is that the younger generation connects differently than we old guys used to connect. We just went out to shows and drank way too much beer and stuff like that. I think that's different now.
Yes, now it's weed, and
yeah, or like
weed
more,
is a bit bigger now than alcohol.
but also just the fact that you have all the social media and that kids are on a phone constantly. So therefore, that's the way to go. So
You have to grab their attention all the time through a lot of content, which is not music actually. So it's weird. Yeah.
So you would be doing a Coen TikTok dance?
Of course. Yeah. I'm actually doing it already. So to keep our fans.
Actually, I don't really know about your TikTok strategy. I have seen like the nicely produced stuff. Like you in Mexico, you had like some video things going on where you did like some, I don't want to say stunts, but like really cool, you know, interactions and so forth and collaborations. But I've not seen the dances. So,
but maybe you're not on the right TikTok.
Maybe I'm not on the right TikTok.
And check out the show. He's doing all crazy shit.
I mean, that I have seen. I have seen some really crazy twirly synthesizer keyboard tricks. I suppose if you're not sure about like a strategy to restart Epica, is there some type of advice you would have for a musician starting out now, or a producer starting out now, just anyone trying to get into music? Are there like certain things that you see people do wrong or right?
Yes. You know, I have kids and they are growing up and they watch a lot of TikTok and YouTube. And I guess the main problem is that they think that you can do everything at the right time, at that time. If you just watch a YouTube tutorial, you can be a piano player or whatever. It's not how it works. You have to just put in the time, put in the effort, and I guess be focused and be sure that you want it, and then put the time in, and then you become a musician. I think in the end, you know, it's all about actually knowing your instrument and being able to play or to produce or to write music. So. And it's not coming there in a second, you know, you have to work for it.
So no get-rich-quick schemes, but then for
music,
music,
it doesn't work.
Just,
Yeah, and also added to that, I would say the network. Go out to shows, meet other musicians, show your face.
Yeah, and especially like in an age of AI maybe where
Yeah.
digital becomes easier and easier, like actual connection in real life might actually get extra value.
Yeah, because it's always like you can be the best musician out there, but if no one knows you, you won't end up in a band, or no one will really get to know you. And I think that is also as important as getting to know your instrument, making sure that people are aware of, I mean, if that's what you want in life, you know, to have a band or get your face out there, then that's what you should do. People don't realize that it's a very small world after all. You know, we always get to see the same people, same crews. They always pop up everywhere, and so that's really important.
So it also means you don't want to burn like any bridges, because you're going to have to drive over the bridge very soon again.
Yeah, true.
Cool. So right now you're on a pretty big tour. Are there any big plans that are maybe not announced or maybe semi-announced? Because we had a Spiral come out like very recently, so tour afterwards makes sense. Is there like a plan for 2026 beyond that, or 27 that's exciting? Yeah? Oh,
Very exciting.
Is it secret?
Well, I can't tell you much about it, but in 27 Epica will be 25 years old. So there's gonna be some celebrations, I guess.
Okay, interesting. But beyond that, we can't say much.
No. That means we haven't thought about it yet.
Yeah. So we're here with some guitars.
Yes,
The exciting part.
the best part of the video.
Whoa, I'm not allowed to say that. So yeah, let's have a look at what you're using right now.
I use Gibson 7 strings, and let's see the main.
So all Gibson 7 strings?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I have 6 strings at home, but for Epica I only use 7 strings. They're all made in 2014. It's the only year they made them. This is Tobacco Burst, the main guitar.
He has seen a lot of
of the world. I like it. I don't like my equipment to be all too
all
shiny.
nice and shiny. Yeah, exactly.
Some also here, and I changed the toggle switch from here to there, because sometimes I do tapping. The others have it at the regular spot. I'll show you later. A regular 7-string.
What about the pickups?
This is Seymour Duncan. This is original. Seymour Duncan bare knuckle, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Strings go from 56 or 58 to either 10 or 9. I think this is 9. I always thought the bigger the gauge, string gauge, the better. But then I saw this Rick Beato video, and he said it was a big myth. So I was like, finally, I can just relax.
Yeah, it's a little brighter if you go a little thinner.
So I went thinner recently.
So which tuning was this in again?
This is standard B.
Standard B, okay, cool.
Yeah, so a 6-string with an extra low B. And then I have this one.
So when playing a power chord, you need to actually play it normally?
Yeah. And now this is the drop A guitar. And now the toggle switch is still here. Everything is also routed that all my volume controls are in one spot. Even if I switch between the two pickups, this is main volume. And this is switched off, this is switched off.
I see. So is the reason you haven't moved this one because you're not really doing like crazy tapping here or something?
Yeah,
I see.
So for any song that I play in this tuning, which is on this tour only one song.
Also bare knuckles or?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
This one, yeah. I usually never need the spare one, but I'll check. I haven't touched that one in a while.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I just really like to see what pickups people are rocking. Oh yeah,
that's
these are
the normal ones. I can't even remember which ones, but it came with those pickups. But you know, this one is not battered.
I see. Yeah, so it's been used.
Barely use it, and because I have this is also tobacco burst. I have a cherry burst at home. That's the one I use to practice at home.
It's really interesting how you're consistently using just same type of guitar, almost same pickup, almost same everything.
Yeah.
You're not really a fan of just trying the craziest combinations or a new...
No, I usually, like back in the days when I was younger, I liked all the flashy stuff, a lot of lights and a lot of equipment, and let's try to make this work. But over the years with all the touring, if things break down, like the more basic it is, the better.
Yeah.
I really like plug and play, also with amps back in the days. Yeah, not too fancy, not too many things going on. Because if we look at the pedals and stuff like that, it's very basic. Here's the
quad Cortex?
The drawer. So I have the Cortex here.
So you've basically beaten gear acquisition syndrome. Like so many people just, you know, continuously acquire.
I have quite the collection at home.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not a nerd, like I need this or that. I have too many anyway, so I don't really collect that much. There's like a couple that I want, and like the Black Beauty Gibson, of course you need to have that, or you know, certain maybe Fender Strats or like very specific guitars. But other than that, I've had these like I said, they're made in 14.
Yeah.
And I've had them ever since, pretty much, and. Yeah, I'm not really looking for anything else. I might want to have the 7-string Flying V, but when I get new instruments, they kind of have to come to me. Like I don't chase them. Yeah. I just wait until the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, the universe just tells you, here you go, and then awesome.
So
cool.
Yeah, that's how I do it. And so as you see, there's nothing fancy about it. But it's a cool system because on stage I don't have to push any buttons, and I can run around wherever on stage.
It's all like automatically swapping depending on where in the song you are and so forth.
Yeah, so it's all MIDI controlled, and maybe here and there my guitar tech needs to, let's say if I have end of a song and I do a solo, then he could just hit that for me. But other than that, it's all set in stone and
awesome, cool.
Yeah, so very easy setup.
Cool, thank you so much.
You're welcome.